Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to do JSA 84 by DC Comics. This is the continuation with The Gentleman Ghost, the storyline. This is, I believe, George Pérez cover with Tom, I forgot his last name. Well, it's on the other page, so let's check this out. Tom Smith. It's written by Paul Levitz, Rag Morales, penciler, Luke Ross, penciler, with the flashback stories, and Dave Meikis, inker. I love Rag Morales' art. It's very clean. It's I don't know. It's just good looking. So yeah, the Gentleman Ghost is here, and he's here in the headquarters of the GSA, which is a very bold move. So everybody is alert. So Power Girl says, "Hey, you got the nerve to threaten us here?" And then Stargirl, takes the first step to attack him, but well, he cannot be touched. And Power Girl also tried that too, and then he's gone again, but then she's flying into the fireplace, which looks really cool. And then the Flash here, Jay Garrick is trying to minimize the damage with the fire flying out. Also, Alan helps as well, and so Stargirl says, "Where did he go?" "Wherever I want, lassie." And she said, "At the joys of being a ghost." So everybody attacks him again, but then like a bunch of amateurs, they all bump into each other, and so he's gone again. And then Power Girl says, "What was that about? Coming here to threaten us?" And then Mr. Terrific says, "I assume this explains who's behind the ghost sightings several of us had today, Power Girl, but not how a trickster like the Gentleman Ghost could pull them off. For a fake ghost, he does a good disappearing act, Mr. Terrific," she says. But then the Thunderbolts, he says, "I'm pretty sure he's a real ghost." Okay, I didn't know that. Like I said, my knowledge about the Gentleman Ghost is very limited, so it appears he wasn't a ghost, more like a fake one, and now he is somehow. I'm not entirely sure. And so Dr. Midnight says, "Well, that's ridiculous. He's an illusionist, a fraud." But Mr. Terrific says, "Well, he's pretty a good one, because neither of his T-spheres or any HQ security devices has any record of his appearance here." Stranger and stranger. So Wildcat steps in. He says, "It may be real, it may be a fake, but what are we going to do about it?" And I don't know. She rips her costume for no reason. I mean, it looks good. Don't get me wrong. I like the art, and I love the shading. So there's a couple of flashback scenes here about Jim Craddock being a kid. His mother died, and I don't know, this guy, sorry for the resolution here and there, wants to use him for, I don't know, digging. And he says, "No, I don't want to do it. And you learn not to be speaking that way to me." So yeah, he's getting an ass whooping. Meanwhile, Jakeem is here, I don't know, some kind in the gravesite, and he met in the last issue his brother, but he doesn't know who his brother is and never seen him. So he uses the powers of the Thunderbolt to see his family. And then, well, the ghost appear, and he says, "Hey, Mom, Grandma," and then he says, "Who the hell are you, calling yourself my brother?" But then he accidentally touches him, and he says, "You better show some respect for your elders." And then the Thunderbolt comes to his help and imprison his brother, and so his brother reveals that he has been approached by a ghost. And he says, "It made me come back and shake you up. Said he was going to get your friends." He says, "That's him?" "Hey, yeah, how do you know?" And so he says, "Well, I only know your name. How come I never heard about you?" He says, "I'm Jimmy, JJ, and I died with Grandma when her place burned. And Jenny blamed me, but I swear it was an accident." He's telling the truth, baby. And then the ghost disappears, and Jakeem wants to get them back. He says, "But hey, I cannot do it because there's rules in place." But even his brother says, "Hey, just be careful," and they're all proud of him. Yeah, I like that. It's a nice family moment, all in a macabre way. I like it. More flashbacks about him, being a a thief, a pickpocket to survive, etc. But then we see also the, well, I want to say dynamic duo, but that's not the case. The brave and the bold. That's probably the best word, the original ones, you know. So they're talking about their ghost, their encounters with their ghost, because everyone has seen a ghost. And Jay says, hey, who was your ghost? And Alan says, Ted Musgrave, my college roommate. And showed up on a broadcast antenna we built outside Gotham right before I murdered him. And then Jay says, you what? So it was an accident. He miscalculated the electric load of the tower, shorted out as Ted hit the button, he says, fried him as though I strapped into an electric chair. But then, great guy Jay Garrick is, he says, hey, murder takes intent, old friend. So, and he says that Lanton says that he was cleared by the police. But I don't know. He feels a little bit bad about that. And then, so they go to Gotham and they're going to research, the place, where, the other guy died. And they want to see if there is clues behind him. So he's using his green flame to reveal, Ted. And Ted says, you run away before, afraid to hear the truth, Alan. You killed me. And now it's time for you to die. And so Flash comes in and says, where's Craddock? But then, I don't know, somehow the ghost can conduct the electricity from the tower to the Flash, and the Flash falls. But, of course, Alan picks him up. And so Alan says, hey, you're not the real Ted Musgrave. So that means I can do this. And he says, what's Craddock's plan, Ghost? And who are you really? Oh, I'm your old dead friend, Ted, all right. And Craddock's your doom. Your death will give him life again, which is more than you can do for me, friend. All right, cool. But then another flashback, but then this time, when it comes to pickpocketing as money, he is seeing a gypsy queen. And the gypsy queen is going to show him his future. And she says, Craddock boy, what have you brought an old lady this fine day? Good lad. Sovereigns I can use, and copper for you in trade. I'll even give you a little extra for your crossing my palm. I tell you what I see in yours. You're right to fear the Tyburn tree, boy, for I see the hangman's noose awaiting for you. But you'll cheat death, and walk the earth long after my dust blows back to good old Romani soil. That's cool. I like that. And she also reveals, Craddock says, well, you're yanking my chain. Well, that's not what he says, but he's a little bit afraid. And she says, you're a child, born of noble blood, and you go to see the rest of the hand of noble blood. Till then, ye live as thief you are, and have no heirs with me. Gold and silver you steal them all in your days, and even after the hangman makes sure they do you no good. And long after the good king's bloodline is thin on the throne, you stand in his castle with those you hate most. And if they die that day, you live again. And she laughs and she says, you crazy old woman. I like that part. I really like that. So, the ghost is gone for now. And Jay says, what happens? Basically, he's just, shook. His body was in shock because of the electrical current. And he says, still feel unsteady. Should I get back to your headquarters, call Dr. Midnight? No, give me a minute. Best thing I can do is clear my own head, and running is the best way to do that. I really love Jay. Jay is a fantastic Flash. It's great to see him around. He's a very positive Pete. So Alan stays behind, but then Craddock is here, and says, "Bravo, bravo! 'Tis a delight to see how proud of you are of each other." Craddock, says Alan. What did you do to that Musgrave? Could you let the man rest in peace? Rest? There will be no rest for any today, Green Lantern. And they still cannot touch him. And so the ghost is gone, but then he appears. I mean, chat, and said, "What does that? What's that monster do to you?" And I gave your old friend a chance to talk to you, Lantern. I'll be doing what needs to be. And then the ghost somehow, I don't know really what his powers are, but he ripped some, part of the tower. And, of course, just in time before he gets squashed, Jay is helped Alan. And then he attacks immediately. This looks great, by the way. Also, this scene too. But then he escapes again. And that's becoming a pattern. And he now also appears in the JSA headquarters with my uncle here. My uncle is the original Red Tornado, although she didn't have any power. I believe she was more like a funny character back in the day, not very serious, but she is the original Red Tornado in name. And so Jim is here and said, "I'm sorry about that, Mother Uncle, is it? But I do have one little question. Perhaps ye could answer. Have you seen Wonder Woman any place lately? There's a debt I've been needed to pay back to the lady." Then this is happening. I like that. Power Girl comes in and smacks him. And he's unconscious, but she wants to pick him up. And then he's gone again. And she says, "How are we supposed to catch someone we can touch?" Well, that's a good question. We're going to find out in the next issue. And we see some familiar images here. Yeah, overall, I really like this comic. But it could be that, first of all, I like the story. I like the Gentleman Ghost. I like the art. So, and I love a mystery here and there, But also, maybe I'm a little bit biased here because, to be honest, I like the GSA a little bit tad more than the Justice League. I mean, the Justice League is more wide known. You have Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, all these great characters. But somehow, this is the mix of old and new. Eh? We have the old characters and mixed with, the younger blood. I like that. I don't know. It's just, past, present, and future. I like that a lot. Guys, let me know what you think about this comic. Thanks for watching, as always. And I'll see you next time.